you would want to go to an attorney for a prenup. Is that right? I mean,
Absolutely.
okay.
Some people will try to, they'll try to take a notebook and they'll
Mm-hmm.
try to draft the prenups themselves. You'll hear in the manosphere, if that's the word, you'll hear, well, all prenups, they never work and they
Yes.
thrown out all the time. And that's just not true. Are prenups thrown out sometimes? Absolutely. There are some terrible prenups out there.
So are those the ones that are thrown out?
Yes,
And
yes.
what makes them terrible?
There are a few things that need to occur for a prenup to be good. There's like a gold standard, right? So the
Okay.
first thing is that your prenup really needs to be drafted by an attorney, right? Don't try to draft the prenup yourself.
Okay.
You will not know how to do it, and it will absolutely be thrown out. The second thing is really you need more than one attorney. If you are going to if you're thinking about getting a prenup, you need to have an attorney, but your wife also needs to have an attorney, her own attorney that is independent of your attorney, so that everybody can say that she was represented by competent, independent legal counsel. Because
Okay.
then she can't say, well, I didn't know this or I didn't understand that because you had an attorney represent you. And so let's say if I was going to get married, I would hire an attorney to draft a prenup. She would hire her own attorney. Maybe I give her the money, right? Because maybe she's not working. And that's one of the stumbling blocks. Guys don't want to do that. Guys don't want to pay for two attorneys. They want to pay for one. But the gold standard, the best way is to get two attorneys independent of each other. And then my attorney drafts up the prenup and then sends it over to her attorney. Her attorney reviews the prenuptial agreement with her, and so that she understands everything, and there's a back and forth, there's a negotiation. Now, prior to us even engaging an attorney or two attorneys, we really need to talk about this, because you need to know all the assets, all of the debt that I have, and I need
Mm-hmm.
to know all of the assets and debts that you have. What you see a lot of times is people get up to the altar and then they get married, and the husband's like, "What do you mean you have $120,000 in student loan debt?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean you've got a bankruptcy case that's open? I didn't know this." Every single prenuptial agreement needs to have a full and complete financial disclosure of both parties. So you can say, these are my assets. These are the assets I had before I married you. These are the inheritance that I'm thinking about, or I think that I'm going to receive. This is everything that I have, the good and the bad. And you put that inside the prenup for both parties. So neither party can say, "Oh, I didn't know you had this," or "Oh, I didn't know you had that." So you definitely need to have your prenup drafted by two attorneys. And this is the gold standard. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes one attorney drafts the prenup for both parties. And will that hold up? Absolutely. But I'm talking about
Okay.
the gold standard, which you really need to shoot for. Go ahead and hire two attorneys to draft the prenup. Make sure that there's a full financial disclosure of all of the assets, all of the debts of the parties. Now, when do you want to finalize this prenup? A lot of prenups get thrown out because the wife will sign the prenup, 2 days before the wedding.
And that's
And
duress. Is that duress or something like
yes,
that?
yes, the wife will make a claim that, hey, we had already
Oh.
spent 30,000 on the wedding. I had already invited all of my college friends here. They had all paid for their plane tickets. We got the whole venue set up. We got all these deposits everywhere. We had to go through with the wedding. We would have
Mm.
lost so much money. I would have been embarrassed in front of my own parents to call this wedding off. We were locked in. He gave me this 35-page contract. I don't have an attorney. I'm like, yeah, well, where's the pen? I'll sign it, right? Get both attorneys a year before the wedding, right when you propose, right when you become engaged. Get a prenup and then push the wedding back. Make sure that the prenup is signed 6 months before the wedding.
Would
So
you say that
that
that's a safe amount of time?
6 months, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely,
Okay.
yeah. 6 months before the wedding, get the prenup signed, like it's notarized, everybody signed, it's all good. Get that taken care of. In fact, I have a video on my channel where an NBA player was in that same situation where he had hired an attorney. The attorney drafted the prenup. He gave his fiance the prenup maybe 5 months before the wedding, and she sat on it. She sat on it. And the player was like, "Yeah, what's up with the prenup? I already paid for it." She's like, "Yeah, I'll sign it. I'll sign it." They get to the altar, And he's like, where's the prenup? And she's like, no, what prenup? And he calls the wedding off. He's like, no, no.
Good.
She
Good.
starts crying. She starts crying, and she says, okay, I'll sign it. I'll sign it, right?
Yeah.
But he had heard, listen, if she's in tears and she's all emotional and everybody's there at the venue, then if she signs it, she can come back and say it was under duress. And he was absolutely right. He had spent about $500,000 on that wedding and called it off.
So he did. He ended up calling it off, and he didn't fall for her crybaby shit.
That's exactly
Awesome.
right. Which is something that I'll be honest, you rarely see. So many men who get married, so many men that I see, they didn't even want to get married in the first place. The woman kind of stuck her fingers up the guy's nostrils and just dragged him to the altar. So many men in this country, they don't have the backbone to stand up for themselves. Because listen, these conversations, you sit a woman down and you say, we got to talk. And she's like, oh yeah, because she loves to talk. You say the word prenup, and now it's a problem. And men are like, man, I'll risk it. Just so that I don't have to have this one conversation, I will risk half of my ass. Right?
Oh God, that seems like such a great filtration system, though. Like if a woman's not even going to consider that, or if she's going to be pouty and tantrumy about it, boom, that's not the one for you.
Yeah,
I would think.
You're exactly right. It's a filtration system, but it's even better than what you're saying, because you're talking about it's a filtration system for her. The better way to think about it is it's a filtration system for you. If you are incapable of having this conversation with another person that you want to make your wife, then you are not ready for a marriage. Forget her, right? You're not ready for it if you can't even initiate this type of conversation, because what women are looking for, I would imagine, I'm not a woman, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that women are looking for a man who has some type of strength, right? But
it's like, I would say oftentimes if a man is too in love, he will lose the woman because he starts acting weak and totally the opposite of what a woman wants in love.
If you can't even stand up for yourself to have a conversation, how are you going to protect me, if we're getting mugged in the street or something?
Yeah.
You don't have a spine at all if you can't
stand up to me.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. And so it's a great filtration system, just like you said, for the woman, because if she starts flipping out, maybe this isn't the one for you. So you're exactly right. But in addition, it's also a filtration system for yourself. So many people that are married should not be married. They shouldn't do it. There are millions of people who the institution of marriage they are not compatible with it, right? People think that love and marriage go hand in hand, and they think that because it's like being a man and being in the man's role. So many men think, well, if I'm in love with her, then the marriage will work. But being in love and being in a successful marriage are two different things. And they're not even highly correlated.
Yeah.
None of this is legal advice, guys. We're just talking. I'm just trying to give you guys information.